Chairperson Jacquard and members of the House Committee on Corporations, my name is Chad Barlow and I'm an Advocacy and Policy Counsel at the American Civil Liberties Union. Thank you for allowing me to testify today and particularly for your accommodations of my schedule. Information and communication are the lifeblood of democracy. When they are permitted to flow freely, our democracy grows and strengthens. But when they are blocked or inhibited, our democracy slowly dies. The Federal Communication Commission's December 2017 decision to grant Internet Service Providers, or ISPs, the ability to decide what online content is permitted to travel on the information superhighways HOV lanes, what information is relegated to the slow lane, and what information is prohibited from even accessing its on-ramp, presents a significant threat to the freedom of all Americans and certainly to the people of Rhode Island. Arguments by the FCC and some ISPs that the end of net neutrality will foster greater internet freedom and innovation are not only patently false, they are absurd. Eliminating net neutrality does one thing and one thing only. It allows those who provide internet access to engage in content-based discrimination. The threats posed by the end of net neutrality are not hypothetical, they are very real. In the absence of net neutrality in the United States and elsewhere, we have seen content slowed and blocked based on the political views and business interests of ISP companies. For example, AT&T censored a live Pearl Jam concert stream in response to criticisms of President George W. Bush by the band's lead singer and veteran. Verizon blocked text messages from the pro-choice advocacy group NARAL because Verizon deemed them to be controversial. TELUS, a Canadian telecom company, blocked the website of a union with which it was engaged in a labor dispute. And we've heard previously about the blocking by multiple ISPs of Google Wallet. In taking up these bills to protect net neutrality in Rhode Island, this legislature finds itself in excellent company. As of today, 26 other states have also introduced net neutrality legislation, and 2 of those legislatures, Washington and Oregon, have already passed their bills. In addition, the governors of Montana, New York, New Jersey, Hawaii, and Vermont have all issued executive orders to preserve net neutrality. Collectively, these bills and executive orders demonstrate that an overwhelming number of American states are united in their view that the FCC's elimination of net neutrality is unacceptable. And it is not just the states that are united. The American people are too. According to a December poll by the University of Maryland's Program for Public Consultation, 83% of Americans are in favor of preserving the net neutrality rules the FCC abandoned in December. And to be very clear, those supporting net neutrality include 75% of Republicans, 89% of Democrats, and 86% of independents. The bipartisan support for net neutrality, where it really matters among the people, is overwhelming. I submit that Rhode Island should adopt both of the bills before this committee today, not only to add its voice to the growing chorus of states fighting for net neutrality, and not only because net neutrality is critical to the people of this state, but also because it is critical to the functioning of the state itself. One needs only to look at this hearing today to understand why. The state of Rhode Island, including the members of this committee and your staff, relies on the internet to do its work and to do it well. In fact, you may have used the internet to prepare for this hearing. But without net neutrality, the ISP companies could have blocked you from viewing any web content that favors net neutrality. Furthermore, they could have slowed your internet access to pro-net neutrality internet videos, such as the brilliant Net Neutrality 2 video produced by Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, which I highly recommend the members of this committee watch. The result of such throttling would be that any attempts to view that video would be constantly interrupted as its content struggles to load. Eventually, anyone trying to view pro-net neutrality videos, be they members of this body, students at URI, or local activists gathered at their public library, would likely abandon their efforts. And as for those anti-net neutrality videos, well, those would do better than run fine. Access to them could be sped up, and they could even be exempted from counting against customers' cell phone data plan limits. Bear in mind, net neutrality is not quite gone yet. It has about 45 more days before it is formally eliminated, so none of these things could have happened today. But H 7076 and 7422 are about protecting us from risks that lay just over the horizon. And without such protections, it is easy to see how democracy itself is under threat in Rhode Island. Whether a member of this legislature or the public at large wants to read content from the New York Times or from Breitbart or wants to just watch videos of celebrities eating spicy chicken wings or hot ones, Everyone should have the right to access lawful content on the internet in a manner that is unbiased, equal, and fair. And that is what these bills are seeking to do, and that is why the ACLU supports their adoption. Let me conclude by quickly dispensing with three fallacious arguments that the ISP companies have been making in state legislatures throughout the country. First, the ISP companies are claiming that all of this is unnecessary because they fully support net neutrality and intend to honor its principles despite the FCC's rollback. The truth is that no industry spends millions of dollars lobbying to eliminate regulations just so they can adhere to them voluntarily. Second, the ISP companies are claiming that it would be impossible for them to abide by a divergent set of net neutrality rules passed by various states. Beyond the tempting "you made your bed and now you must lie" in response, the truth is that all the ISP companies would need to do to comply with the range of differing state net neutrality laws is to adhere to the standards set by the strictest one. Third, the ISP companies are claiming that we do not need state net neutrality laws because the Federal Trade Commission is going to fully enforce net neutrality going forward. As proof of this statement, they reference the vigor with which the FTC enforced consumer protection laws against big corporations under the Obama administration. The truth is that not all net neutrality violations run afoul of antitrust or consumer protection laws, and more importantly, nothing the FTC did under the Obama administration is at all relevant to what it will do under the Trump administration. The current FTC has neither been given the staff nor the funding to vigorously enforce net neutrality, nor has it given any indication that it is interested in doing so. If any entity is going to pick up the banner of net neutrality and move it forward in 2018, it is going to be the collective states of the United States. I sincerely hope the state of Rhode Island will join that important cause today. Thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Chairman, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Just for the committee's knowledge, usually we don't allow any reading of testimony, but I knew that the point you were trying to make, you were going to be trying to make, was very difficult and very complicated, so that's why I allowed it. All the questions? Okay, thank you very much. No, would you like to